As a kid, I used to love to rearrange my bedroom. Now, I don't know what I was thinking, because my bedroom was like the size of a postage stamp, but it would re-energize the space and make me excited to be there. And I find that I like to do that in my shop too, which is kind of crazy, but I'm not really always talking about moving big power tools. Sometimes it's just rearranging some of the furniture in the shop for greater efficiency. And that also excites me and re-energizes the space just like it did when I was a kid. So I thought I would have you guys come along with me, show you the changes I'm gonna make, and do it all sort of vlog style, tell you what's going on. So I got a lot of work to do, and I'm gonna try not to hurt my back while doing it. So let's get to it. So here's a nice bird's eye view of the current shop layout. It may not be immediately obvious what's wrong with the space, so let me show you some of the problem areas that I'd like to improve. Right next to the front door, I have my drill press and anything related to drilling. It's pretty crowded, and the bit cabinet is kinda tough to access. The big tool cabinet is the unfortunate victim of any flat surface syndrome and is full of clutter. In the new setup, I'd really like a dedicated place for things like the grinder and the Tormek. Continuing on to the area behind the workbench, I've got a slop sink and some sketchy-ass plumbing. Now the sink itself is too deep, and it really doesn't have any kind of storage, so I'd like to improve that. It would also be nice to have some countertops in this area for things like sharpening, prepping finishes, and even using the ultrasonic cleaner. Moving further to the left, I have a whole gaggle of issues. First, this area is a clutter magnet. This is also where the two shop furnaces are located, and the filters are incredibly difficult to swap out, especially the one that's being blocked by the cabinet. Not to mention that the miter saw is a pretty substantial dust producer even with good dust collection, so it's really not ideal to have it located so close to the furnace. An issue that's pretty specific to me is that my camera is on a rolling tripod. I could really use some extra clearance for getting the various shots while filming. And another thing I'd like to improve here is getting the drawers that contain my router bits a little bit closer to the router table. And finally, I'd really like to have my assembly table living a little bit closer to the mobile clamp wall, if possible. So let's get cracking. Moments like this make me very happy that most of my shop furniture is mobile. So mobile, in fact, that I don't even notice I'm dragging along a 30-pound dumbbell. This is when I find some of the stuff I've been looking for. Maybe not. Looks like some dust, dominoes, screws, and these. Cool. Now the big challenge is the switcheroo that has to happen. This entire thing is going to be coming over here. So I gotta make sure that this space is kind of staged and cleared out so we can do that. Thankfully, everything over here is fairly mobile. Just gotta do a little cleanup. Oddly enough, this isn't the first time that I've modified this miter station. The original looked like this, but because it's really just a bunch of smaller cabinets, you can mix and match and orient them any way you want. In my case, I'm downsizing it, but still keeping all the cabinets. You probably know by now that I'm always trying to protect my back, so you'll see me employ some smart helpers to move the heavy and bulky stuff. One example are these little squeezy jack hoochies, which are incredibly useful for getting things onto furniture dollies, and anything I can get onto a dolly is something that I can easily push around to its new location. So this cabinet is actually a single and a double screwed together. I'm separating them and then positioning the miter saw in between. Now this is gonna work, but there are some problems to solve. All right, so overall, I'm feeling pretty good about this. The one point that I'm a little bit concerned about is I really do want this top to be as far back as I can get it against that wall. I don't want a big gap back there, but I'm gonna have to notch around this little bump out here. Now, normally I would be a little bit hesitant to do that on a finished top like this, but because I have changed my system that I use here, I used a old Incra T-slot there and went with the Woodpecker's, this thing. The little hideaway hoochies. Because I switched to that anyway, I wound up having to rework the top. So at some point, I'm probably gonna replace this whole top anyway, so this is not too precious to me to lose a little notch back there. Not that big of a deal. All right, so the miter saw station is moved. I gotta say I'm not totally happy with the arrangement here. Now the good thing is, I know a woodworker who can make something new and make modifications to this. So I don't think I'm gonna have to make something completely new, but I do think I'm gonna need some mods that will make this work a little bit better for this space. Just a couple things that I don't like. First of all, this side is just a little bit too close to the door. And you can see when we get shipments in, this is the thing that tends to happen. The boxes and stuff just sit there until we have time to deal with them. So I would like something here that maybe has like a flip out table, especially since I don't often need the extension material to the right of the saw. And when I do, having something there that, you know, can kind of flip up would be great. And on this side, kind of the same thing. While I do use more of this length, it still would be nice to have a flip out portion that would allow me to bypass this little notch I had to make there. And also, since I have a bandsaw over here, I'm thinking about the height of this bandsaw. And I want to make sure that any outfeed from this bandsaw can glide right over this. And right now, it's just a hair too high. So I think I've got a plan, but that's for another video. Now, I don't know for sure where these cabinets are going to go, but there is no easier time to remove them than right now. So I'm going to take them down. I've shown this bad boy before, but the best investment that I've made in my back health, aside from exercise, is this Sumner material lift. These cabinets really aren't that heavy, but when trying to balance them while removing that last screw, things can get pretty dicey. So having a nice solid platform for support helps a lot. So now we have our first win. It looks like I can just slide this cabinet over so that it's next to the router table. And it's a double win because the furnace is no longer blocked. With the miter saw wall clear, I can now move the workbench to its new home. And while I don't love this big Milwaukee cabinet in this location, it's really the only logical place at this point. And now I can transfer all the stuff from the old tool wall to the new tool wall behind the workbench. Now I wish I could say that I've got some kind of master plan for this wall, but my brain just doesn't work that way. I'm attaching things as I go just to keep stuff off the floor. After I have some time to live in this new arrangement, I'll be in a better position to rearrange this stuff later for the most efficiency. Now back to the sink wall, you can see two new shop stands that I'll be using as the bases for some new countertops. I just need to get the rest of this stuff off the wall to make room for the upper cabinets that used to live above the miter station. Now I need to put some of the cabinets up on this wall, and this is probably common sense for a lot of you, but if you've never hung cabinets before and you're doing it by yourself, you might find this a particularly useful tip. I like to put a cleat on the wall. It's not hurting anything. Even if this were drywall, you could still patch the drywall and clean up any little holes that you make, but a cleat makes all the difference in the world for keeping this thing up there and secure until you could throw some screws in. So I'm gonna grab the cabinet, put it up here, gonna make sure I have my drill and a few screws nearby so that when I'm holding this with one hand, I have a free hand to do the work. And boy, does this make things a whole lot less stressful. So I got my mark there. It's looking good. Those first couple are just holding it to the T111. At this point, I go for longer screws and I find the studs. I'ma just slip in here for a second to talk about coffee. That's right. Those delicious brown beans of joy that so many of us can't live without. When a good buddy of ours started his veteran-owned roasting company, we couldn't resist the opportunity to make a custom blend. We're calling it Woodworker Fuel, the Sunrise Shop Blend. You can expect comforting notes of toasted grain, a gentle sweetness, and just enough zip to make that first joinery decision feel like the right one. And if it's not, you'll be so happy with your coffee that you won't even notice. You can buy just a bag of beans, or you can get one of our combos featuring our Wood Whisperer ceramic mug or the Firehouse tumbler. You'll find all this stuff at twwstore.com. Now back to the hot shop action. Between the upper cabinets, I'll install some wall-control pegboard panels. Torx screw. You suck. Now, I realize this color clashes something fierce, but that's a fancy boy problem for later. All right, so this back wall is coming together. I'm still waiting for a sink. Once we get the sink, it's gonna drop right into that location, put a couple tops over here, and this is well on its way to what I was hoping it would be. So stoked about that. But what I've noticed is now, while I really do like to have a lot of room to move the tripod around, this is almost too much room. And I really think I could benefit from taking everything that's in this center section here, my jointer, table saw, and the outfeed cabinet. If all of this can just move back this way, maybe 16 inches, 20 inches, something like that, it's gonna do a couple of things. One, it just takes this extra space and turns it into useful space, but it also creates more space over here. And this space between my planer and the end of this tool, the jointer here, sometimes in fact, with a really long piece, I can have issues when I'm jointing something like 8 foot long. So having these pieces pushed a little bit is a good thing. And this now gives me another spot. You guys have seen before, I like to cut my plywood down on the floor first, and I need a good larger than 4x8 space to do that. And this is pretty close here, but it will be a little bit tight for that. Normally, I do that over here, but now we've got an assembly table in this space, right? So I can't do it here. The other thing I'm gonna try to do, and I'm still not sure how I'm gonna do it, I want these two tools to move this way a little bit. I have plenty of room over there where the miter saw is, plenty of room for the drum sander to scooch over at least 6 inches, maybe 10 inches. It's the Felder planer that's gonna be the real challenge to move that thing, because it is a beast, and I don't exactly have the kind of equipment needed to move that. I could always rent something, but I'm kind of undecided on what I'm gonna do, but it does need to scooch on over. So, one thing at a time. Now, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but does anyone do a table saw mobile base better than SawStop? Their industrial base is so easy and fast to use, it just makes it feel like the saw is kind of floating. Right now, it's actually my cabinet that's creating all the problems. All right, so moving those 3 things, not too bad. I mean, even if my stuff is fairly static, I like to have mobile bases. I like to have things on wheels, because ultimately there may be a time I have to move them. I'm always thankful that I include that in the things that I build or the tools that I purchase. Now, the thing that is not gonna move very easily is this Felder planer. There's probably a bunch of ways I could approach this, but gotta give credit where it's due. A little Canadian ingenuity, my buddy Greg, who helps us out with a bunch of things in the Guild and the Wood Whisperer, mentioned that if I could just kind of position some wood between the wall, which is a cinder block and brick wall, if I could position some boards there and then use some kind of a jack, I might be able to just scooch this planer over, and it doesn't need to go very far. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I think it's gonna work, and I don't think I'm gonna hurt myself. But maybe I'll push a wall down, who knows. So you can see over here under the tool, I've got a piece that goes all the way to the base of the wall, then it goes under the table, 2 more pieces, and eventually I end up here. And then I got a small piece of poplar that's a little smaller than the space that I have to play with. And yep, let's see if it's gonna work. All right, who's taking bets? By the way, the structure of this base, it's really best, I think, to put the pressure here. This is just a panel, but once it gets over here, there's a little bit more structure involved, so I feel a little more comfortable pushing up against that. But I'm gonna put my body weight on this board so that it doesn't buckle on me, and let's just see if we can give it a scoochy scooch. It's going. Oh, this is gonna be slow. Woo! All right. Now I guess we do the other side. So I do realize that there are better jacks for this purpose, but this is all I have, and I don't feel like buying something else right now. Oh, that sucks. All right, that's looking much better. So nice wide pathway there. I can actually scooch the assembly table over just a little bit to give me more room on this side. So mission accomplished. And still, those two are kind of tucked away the way that they usually are. It just shifted over a little bit. So happy with that, though my hands are a little sore. All right, boom. Got myself a sink. Now, I didn't really film any of this because it's literally just assembling a metal sink, nothing too fancy there. I'm gonna do some real sweet stuff with the plumbing. I'm not even gonna show it to you because I don't wanna hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. This is a 1970s firehouse. If everything just works, it's a freaking miracle. I'm not worried about getting the plumbing exactly perfect. As long as the water runs and it goes into a drain, I'm gonna be a happy boy. So moving right along over there, I think I might finish this up with making some tabletops over here, some countertops. And I do have quite a bit of cherry in the other room that I think will be good for this, so maybe that's what I'll do today. One other thing I wanted to show you real quick is I like to have some backlighting in here, and this actually helps when you're working at the workbench to have this lighting. It's good for the video, obviously. But I have these two strips of lights up there, and they don't quite reach the outlet as easily as I wanted them to. The switch on the cord is way up here. So, you know, I'm kind of a smart home geek. You might think I would, you know, go with some kind of a smart switch. The thing is, they make really dumb switches. It's just a wireless on-off. That's all I need, right? No need to overcomplicate something like this. And I don't have any, you know, voice-activated stuff in the shop. I have it at home, but not here. So this is just super reliable. We have used these in our kids' rooms at home for various things, and it works great. So, oops, no reason to mess with what works. All right, so now that I take a closer look with the sink in place, I'm actually thinking I might want to move this upper cabinet over and make room for another pegboard. Because the sink kind of had to be where it is, I wasn't sure how this off-centered thing would affect what's up here. So centering on the sink has just kind of left me with a dead space here. So this cabinet can scooch over. I might move this one over just a little bit, but I think this really, it kind of, you know, it's why I use T111 everywhere. If you have some kind of screw surface on your walls, even if it's over drywall, or in this case, it's over a masonry wall, it really makes things so much easier. And while, sure, I'd rather not have to move this stuff, the fact that I can move it and it's not that big of a deal, it definitely works in my favor. So highly, highly recommend T111 or some other sheet good, OSB, plywood, whatever, on your walls. Just makes things so much easier. Since I'm just scooching the cabinets over, I can reinstall that cleat that I used before. That'll take the weight of the cabinet and keep it at the same height as I remove and reinstall the screws. All right, so I think I'm at a pretty important juncture right now. Things are kind of committed and I'm comfortable with where things are, but I need to spend some time with them. Furthermore, I need to build a couple of projects. The good thing is, by building projects, it's going to allow me to use this new space, get to know it a little bit more, and I haven't made all the final decisions yet. I haven't built all the things that I need to build for this new space, so this is a way for me to test that out before fully committing. I think that's a good idea. So right now I'm just gonna basically clean up, do the best I can to put everything away, clear off my spaces, and get myself ready for a couple of small projects, right? So time to clean. All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I do plan to have future videos talking about the rest of the upgrades that I didn't finish. I kind of rushed it at the end just to become a functional shop again, and then when I have time to take a breath in the future, I could do future improvements. One thing I did want to mention, a lot of the shop furniture that you see here, we have plans for those things and videos here on YouTube that you might be interested in. In some cases, we have full courses in the Wood Whisperer Guild, so I'll make sure all the links are in the description for you if you are interested in that. So thank you for watching, everybody. Thanks for subscribing and liking the video. That always helps, and I'll see you next time.